Manchester United close to signing Cody Gakpo and are working on a deal for Antony from Ajax. These are going to be big and expensive deals collectively, but reports coming out of the Netherlands suggest that Manchester United want to get both done and both over the line. Make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribing to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Welcome back. Welcome back. Excuse the voice this morning. It's absolutely gone. So I'm going to try and talk a little bit quieter, maybe a little bit less enthusiasm in my voice, but nevertheless, the same old me. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Make sure you get that done. And of course, we're sponsored today by One Football. You can download their app using the link in the description, in the live comment section, or of course, scanning the QR code. Lots of reports going around this morning about Manchester United. People are telling me to go check David Ornstein's tweet. Okay, we'll touch on that a little bit later today. Don't you worry yourselves about that. But lots and lots and lots going on in relation. People keep saying the sound's low. What happens at the moment on StreamYard, if you play like a video, the audio, for 5-6 seconds after the audio plays, is really low, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's a StreamYard thing. So yeah, just don't worry about it. The sound should be fine again now. There shouldn't be any real problems at all. Let me know if there is, and we'll see if we can sort that out. But there's lots and lots of reports this morning that we want to delve into in relation to Cody Gakpo and, of course, the signing of Antony. Now, the British press have kind of been reporting that Manchester United are only going to look to sign one of these individuals. However, what's been reported by Mike Verveil was also been reported by the Telegraaf, which is one of the big, highly reputable outlets from the Netherlands, is that Manchester United want to sign both Antony and Cody Gakpo. Now, a journalist coming out of the Netherlands who's very much a PSV related journalist, whose name is Rijk, I think it's pronounced Alfrink, has stated that Cody Gakpo is close to joining Manchester United. Once United's formal bid is made, the deal is expected to be done. Now, there is a lot of thought that the player wants to respect PSG and get the game against Rangers for the Champions League qualification over the line. He'd almost like to help PSG get qualified for the Champions League and then move on. He almost wants that to kind of be respected by Manchester United, which a lot of people get and a lot of people understand. It's an important element for this individual to kind of have done. And look, we know what's going on at Man United today. Of course, there's going to be the big pushback against the Glazers. Everybody wants them out. Everybody wants them gone. And we totally understand that. I think what's really intriguing about this is that this should make Man United fans happy in the sense that the manager is going to get more players that he wants and needs. But equally, why are we on the 22nd of August and these deals are coming to fruition? Why are we unveiling Casemiro at the same time there's meant to be a walkout and a protest? Why are we spending the money now when there's pressure, more pressure than ever on the Glazers looking to sell the club? So there's two trains of thought here. Happy that these quality players are coming in. Are we spending a little bit too much? Should we have got it done a bit sooner, though? These questions absolutely still remain. Now, from my point of view, I look at this situation and I think to myself, happy with these players. Antony overpriced, as we know. Gakpo, a very sensible price around that mid-30 range. And it's absolutely right that Manchester United look to get both of these individuals done. It's absolutely right that we look to get both of these individuals done, to get both of these individuals over the line. United's attack has looked so toothless so far. And I get some people will focus on the midfield. I get some people will focus on mistakes made at the back. But Sancho doesn't look right. Rashford hasn't been right. Ronaldo is getting old. Martial isn't right. I know he hasn't kicked the ball yet this year, but we kind of know, if Rashford's last 18 months are what we were judging him on now, I haven't got my hopes high that Anthony Martial is going to become the superstar player that we need. Ahmad isn't good enough. Palestri isn't good enough. Alanga isn't good enough. So these are the types of signings that are needed by Manchester United. And I don't think we can get away from that in any way, any shape, or any form. But I want your views and I want your opinions on this right about now, people. This morning, get your comments in. Make sure you're subscribing. Terry's voice will sound more worse after United Liverpool's result. I won't be able to shout even if I want to. I think if I was to shout for like 10 minutes, I'd have no voice left. It's absolutely gone. And I'll be spending the rest of the day very, very silent until my shows because I need to work. The sound is fine, Terry, but your voice is finished. Yeah, I know, but it's okay. Don't worry about the voice. Just ignore that and let's talk football, please. Sometimes I get some of your comments. Well, great. Just let's talk football. Don't you realize that the Glazers are the reason why you're the second most successful club in England? Stop the crying Manx. Yeah, very weird. The Glazers are trying to divert attention. Nothing is going to stop us from wanting the Glazers out. Absolutely. But if in the meantime they buy some good players, great. That's like my view on it. Like if in the meantime we get some decent players in, then I'm kind of happy with that. Like I want better players at my football club. So yeah, like I'm not gonna moan about an increasing quality of player, no doubt about it. United bid 100 million to sign a Rib Holding to solve their defense. Oh, to sign Rob Holding. I don't understand. Is that a bit of banter? Is that? But I don't know if that was banter. I don't know if that was a dig at a player we have bought. Do try that again, please. You've probably been asked this before, but thoughts on Pedro Neto to Arsenal? Yeah, I've seen the reports this morning. Like, I think Pedro Neto would be a good signing. I was talking at the weekend to Jess about him actually, and I was saying how I think Neto, like Neves, and like we've already seen with Jota, I think these players need to go to better teams, better quality around them to really see how good they are. We see flashes and we see moments, but you really need to see these individuals surrounded by better quality. I think Neto could be a seriously good player, really good player from the bench, and someone that will fight hard to garnish a first team place. And Martinelli and Saka will certainly feel the pressure of a player like him signing for Arsenal. And I'm sure we're going to cover that on the Top Six show this evening at 6 p.m. So make sure we're actually probably about 5 p.m. So make sure you are tuning in. Your voice is cracked like Chelsea fans today. Yeah, Chelsea fans are feeling it today. I can tell. I've started to see a lot of murmuring to Tuchel out. I haven't said Tuchel out, but the way they're talking about the manager and his coaching and his setups, you can feel you can feel what's coming next. It feels very, very ominous indeed. Make sure you are all smashing that like button for us, people. It's very important that you do that. I still don't understand why everybody just doesn't hit the like button when they arrive. One of the weirdest things on social, especially the one that tunes in every day. It's always been a strange one to me, but please make sure you're getting that done for us. It means a great deal. Ola here says, I agree with the Manx protesting against the Glazers, but United fans should also accept that Liverpool should be awarded 3 points if the game gets rescheduled. Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about that. I think what Man United fans have an issue with is Liverpool fans are saying you're only doing it to hurt our season. I just find it such a disgusting and disgraceful thing to say. Like you're making it, pain that the United fan base is going through, the dishonor of the club, the corporate corruption at our club, that your football club stands up against so vehemently and so brilliantly, just dismissing that to make it all about you. It's for me, it's very disrespectful indeed. But I think if the game gets called off, Liverpool should be given the 3 points. I think there's a part of Man United fans that wants that to happen as well. And that's why they've chosen the biggest game on the football calendar, Man United versus Liverpool, because it will get the most attraction, make the most noise in the media. But it isn't about Liverpool per se. It's about Man United and the Glazers. I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. This comment here says peaceful process tonight. It needs to be peaceful. Yeah, no violence, no one getting hurt. I do worry about that because there will be some absolute fucking weapons there, I can tell you. 100 million for Antony, but he can't get into the Brazilian team over Martinelli. So if he's worth 100 million, what's Gabby worth? It's really interesting that people use the national team thing. So I've seen a lot of rival fans, Liverpool, Arsenal especially, say, well, he can't even get in the Brazil team. He's not worth the money. Now, by the way, I think he's overpriced. But based on he can't get in the Brazil team thing, that's Liverpool fans admitting that Casemiro is better than Fabinho. That's Arsenal fans admitting that Richarlison is better than Jesus. Doesn't always add up in that way. So it's either we're going to take who plays where internationally seriously, or we're not. Which way around does it go? I do think that would you say that he is overpriced. I do think he is overpriced. To be fair, um, one sec. I just got to update something. Very, very sorry, people. There we go. It's updated. Have you heard the rumor of Casado going to Liverpool? Well, the rumor's true. I've heard the rumor, as in the rumor in itself could happen. Once I've got all these lights out today, everything's slightly off. There we go. It's a little bit better. I have heard the rumors. The rumors are true. As in the rumors are there. They're real stories by credible journalists. Whether it happens or not is a completely different kettle of fish. But there are a lot of Liverpool fans out there that think another signing will happen. So let's wait and see. Son must be worth $1 billion and Kulu a cheeky 750 million. I mean, what's interesting about the Antony deal and him costing £100 million is this: and it's an if he was to come in and start scoring and assisting and delivering, then nobody would be talking about it. Nobody would care. There wouldn't be any sort of, oh wow, that's a bit too much. That's a bit excessive. I can't believe United are paying so much money. If he comes in and does what Kulusevski has been doing, then I think that no one's going to care anymore. If he doesn't though, and it's, he comes in and it's, 3 goals, 5 assists all season, he's going to be absolutely cooked by social media. There's no doubt about that at all. That's what's going to happen. Martinelli doesn't start for Brazil. Oh, there we go. Well, you'll know, Neeks, you're a Brazil fan. So yeah, I find it interesting that this has been the first summer ever where, and maybe it's because clubs have bought players, a number of players in the same national team, but who starts where internationally is now seen to be the barometer for who's better. Let's just wait and see how they all do this season, But how many wingers are too many, Terry? You need to move some merch. I don't understand. How many wingers are too many? I tell you what's too many. Too many that aren't good enough. That's too many wingers. I have to agree, Terry, but it's a small number of Liverpool fans that think that way. I know, and I'm calling them out. As I say, I think we have this issue in this world sometimes. When you put someone writes, I wrote in my tweet, the Liverpool fans criticizing the protests. So whether that's 300, 3 million, I'm just talking about the ones criticizing it. If you're a Liverpool fan that hasn't, then you shouldn't be offended. It's like basic English, basic English. And I know you get it because that's what you've said. It's crazy. Antony is just like Vinny, but played for Ajax. I hope that he is. Like, he looks very talented. Gakpo looks very talented. And as a United fan, irrespective of how I feel about our owners, I want our signings to work because I want us to be better on the football pitch. We could be better on the football pitch and still get rid of the Glazers because you can still pull your money away. But of course, like, you want to have the best squad possible. I mean, you've got to cover all angles. The Glazers might stay. Man United fans will probably continue spending money and they won't sell. Therefore, you want the best team possible. It is what it is, really. Anthony here says Gakpo on the left will be better suited than Rashford. Sancho and Anthony on the right. We still need a point, and United a Verratti or De Jong in midfield. Well, one of the other reports from the same journalists who have stated that Man United are going to look at both of these players have also stated that United are still in for Frankie De Jong and will make another attempt for him. I mean, there were some strong reports at the back end of last week that United could spend near to £300 million on players, which is good in the sense of that's what we needed to do that this summer. But it's frustrating from the angle of why has it taken until now to do it? Could have spent this money sooner, especially if we end up paying Ajax the money that if we end up paying Ajax the money that they want for Antony, we may as well have done it 3 weeks ago. Like, That's more frustrating to me than paying the money, is that you end up paying it, but you end up waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to do it. I find it very, very, very confusing indeed. Tom Hopkins here, a journalist, says that Antony is likely to become United's fifth summer signing. There's a lot of thought and feeling that that deal can get done and over the line as well. I've just shared that if you guys haven't seen that already. Mr. Percy here says, hope you're well, Terry. Do you have a feeling these deals are surfacing due to the protests? Yes, slightly. So you think if one protest can make the Glazers do this, imagine what pulling your money away would do. Imagine what protesting every game would do. You know, Man United fans have power. They just have to have they just have the perseverance and the right type of love for the club to do it. And sometimes that right love means hurting them. I dropped my son this morning to nursery, and he had one of those mornings where he didn't want to go. He wanted to stay with me, just holding on to my leg. I want to stay with you, Daddy. Daddy, can I come with you? Daddy, can I come with you? Now he needs to go to daycare. He needs to go. One, I've got to work, and two, it's important for his development and his education. The worst thing I could have done this morning as a parent is said, okay, you can stay with me. That wouldn't have been loving my son. That would be a weakness from me. And that would be setting the precedent that he has to, he gets away with doing things he doesn't want to do. I handed him over. He started crying. His lip was going, and it hurt me to see him like that. But him staying at daycare today is the absolute right thing to do. Tough love is real love. Rolling over and going, okay, actually, look, I'll take a day off work and you can come stay with me. Just for him feeling a little bit upset at that time. I've already had a message from the nursery 40 minutes later saying he's calmed down, he's playing and he's laughing now, he's happy. The leaving him and upsetting him for a small period of time is the right thing to do. That's real love, in my opinion. And that's what Man United fans have got to do to their club. It might hurt you to like pull your financial support away, pull your physical voice away. But if it ends up with a better result for the club, that for me is the way I look at these things. And I won't change my mind on that. And so far, I've had £30,000 on offer for anyone that can come on the air and tell me, show me I'm wrong. No one's taken me up on the offer yet. It's kind of weird. Go figure. People still mocking Arteta as a manager. People forget when he was number 2 at Man City. A largely majority of the players say he has improved them. Dare I say it, Arteta can see potential in a player which Guardiola can't. So you're suggesting that the talent ID of Mikel Arteta is better than Pep? Is that what you're saying? Like, be direct with me there. Like, what's your actual statement there, my friend? That's what it reads like. I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying. I don't want to misrepresent it at all. Let me know. Let me know exactly what you think and feel, feel about that, my friend. I just want to make sure that I don't misrepresent you in that point. Terry, can you educate me on what United fans actually want with the Glazers? Because it's like the Cronkies, he's going nowhere. If you sign Casemiro, De Jong, Gakpo, Antony, Martinez, Eriksen. Well, look, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for everybody, but I'll phrase it this way. I want them gone. But if they stay, then you want them to run the club properly. And that isn't just spending money. It's the right standards, getting rid of player power, having a clear philosophy of football from academy right through to the first team, and not changing direction every 18 months to 2 years. Those are just some small things. You know, improve the training ground, improve the stadium, show players that we have got high standards right across the board at this football club. These are just some of the things. If you do, you yield better results on the pitch. When your training ground is falling apart, your stadium is falling apart, player power ensues, you're changing direction every 18 months. The message to the dressing room is we are not serious. When you're not serious, that gives players an out. The reason why Tottenham don't win anything is because the club doesn't have the standards of winning. They have the bridesmaid standards where they're here. It's like it's okay to come second as long as you try. That leads to more failure. You got to have a standard up here where dropping a point is almost a sackable offense, and that player power never ensues. The manager is in charge. You know, you stick to a specific philosophy. All these things are what is needed, my friend. That's my view anyway, if they were to stay. Terry, my last super chat was not an attack on you. I was just asking you. Always supported your channel for over 2 years. Love the content, mate. I didn't take it as an offense. I'm a grown man. I'm very open to challenge. I'm very accepting of challenge. I think it's absolutely fair to challenge. And any YouTuber that blocks people or gets angry at people for challenging their opinions, I don't understand why anybody would want to listen to and watch another human being like that. That means that they think they're superior to you. And history shows that people that have a superiority complex often do very bad things or are very bad people. So no issues my end. De Jong's wife doesn't want to come to England, period. Yeah, maybe. And maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens there. We need a world-class sporting director. Yeah, that's, again, all the things I'm talking about would require sporting directors best in class. I'm just giving a macro view of the situation, but I hear you, my friend. Rubbish is because Spurs don't have enough money. No, Spurs have money. They choose not to spend their money, but Spurs have money. They have a lot of money, and they could spend. You do spend. You do spend. You do spend. It's a nonsense. That's the standard ENIC have instilled in us for 2 decades. And that's why I'm in this position, same position as you. I think where I haven't been at a game since 2017 and stopped putting money in altogether is what's been said there. Rashford started his player power BS. We need to bid him farewell. Look, I like Rashford, everybody knows. I also think if PSG are legitimately willing to pump £60 million in for him, I think we should accept that money. I think Man United should accept the 60 odd million, bring in Gakpo, and essentially just go from there. I think if we do that as a football club, I think we will progress. I think if we do that as a football club, we will. I think we'll do well. I really do think that we'll do well if we get that done. I really, really do. Terry, what do you think of Ten Hag granting Sky an interview at this stage? It probably doesn't have any choice. There is probably a contractual agreement that Sky have with the Premier League to do a certain amount of interviews with clubs, and he probably has almost no chance of saying no. I've seen snippets from it. I'm glad those questions are being asked, and I'm glad the manager's answering them, to be honest. I don't care about handing 3 points to Liverpool. I don't care about them or any other of our rivals at this moment. All I care about is getting the Glazers out, as what's been said here. And I hear you on that, my friend. 60 million for Rashi, and maybe we can talk about Hakimi. Maybe. Look, I don't think Hakimi is going to come to Man United. I wouldn't mind it. Obviously, we're linked with Dest, and we're linked with Max Aarons. There's another fullback we were linked to the other day. I forget the person's name now. Been linked to so many. I'd like to see a new fullback come in, because Delo and AWB they're the same player. One just looks better at being bad, but they're both bad. We need better than both of them. There's no doubt. I think you should bring in Gakpo if you can and forget Antony. I think we should bring in both. I'm not happy with the Antony price, but I think we should bring in both. I think both should become Manchester United players. I really, really do think that should happen. I think it's important, and I think it's the right thing for the club to do, and the right way for the club to be investing money. Is it true Brendan Rodgers is going to be sacked today? I don't know, but he should be, because the geezer is an absolute fraud. And I said I'd never call him that again, but I just think he is. Dumfries, yeah, that's the guy. Rashford wrote an essay again on Twitter. Did he? Okay, I haven't even looked. I don't follow anyone anymore. It's a great way of not being triggered by people if you don't follow them. Terry, have some teammate. Your voice is gone from the fight. Yeah, no, I've already had some tea this morning. I'm going to spend the rest of the day not talking until my later shows, but thank you. Martial won't be sold as he is a Joe Glazer favorite player. I recall reading a few years ago. Too many favorites of the Glazers. It's kind of weird. Poch spent 20 pence and got to the Champions League final. The funds have been spent on a stadium and training ground. Players are now the priority. I hear you. You got money then, innit? So you put the investment elsewhere, and you bought that stadium to actually generate more income. So go and deliver off the back of it is my point. That's my point that I'm raising there, my friend. Let's do some more of these comments here. The reason why the Glazers could leave is because the debt is high, and sooner or later they will be forced to invest their own money, which they won't. It's a fair point. Very fair point. Players Same. Sane and Sterling say Arteta improved them as players. Arteta saw the potential in Jesus and Zinchenko and brought the best out of them. Guardiola seems to not use their talent as he sold them for 35, 40 million, which now looks a bargain under Arteta. Yeah, so what are you saying? Are you saying I get all of that, and I really appreciate the super chat. Are you saying that Arteta's talent ID is better than Pep's? I do need a resounding statement at the end of this. Like, what are you actually saying? I get all of that, and I appreciate that. I think what you've said is logical. What's your final statement? What is your claim? That is what I want to hear from you, my friend. Thank you. Hi, Terry. I want to call in, but not sure how. I'm going to share the link now, actually, because I need some other people to come on and talk. Otherwise, my voice is going to go. Put this in now for you guys to call in and have your say, because I do want to hear from you this morning. I want to know what you're thinking, and I want to know what you're feeling. Please share this stream across your social media as well, please, people. It's really important that you do that. Your WhatsApp groups, your Telegram groups, your Twitter feeds, Facebook, and all that jazz. It'd be great. The link to call in, I'm going to pin it in the live comment section as well, so you can all see it. Please get that done. It'd be good to hear from some of you this morning. Yeah, I've read about Neto to Arsenal. I've read the headline. I'm going to read the story a little bit later, and we'll talk about that on the top 6 show this afternoon. I've been protesting for 5-6 years, mate. Plus, I'm not one of these Johnny come latelys who's only just seeing the light. But there we go. There we go. Say it with your chest. Is Arteta better than Pep in your dreams? No, he didn't say better. I think he's suggesting the talent idea is better. But I want to know. I want to know the truth. I want to know what he actually thinks. I want to know. I want to know. Yeah, I agree. It was great. It was great to see that. Are managers too technical with the tactics given to players, as most of them are pretty thick? Football's a really basic game. It's only certain football fans on Twitter that make football sound complicated by using overly elegant and articulate words to describe football, but they do that because they want to sound superior to other people. So when you hear people say, "Oh, my team plays in too much of an over vertical way," well, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, I think we pass the ball forward too much. It's like, why are you saying over vertical? Just say we pass the ball forward too much. It's like you're talking about it like it's rocket science, and it isn't. Don't be fooled by these absolute charlatans. My talent idea is better than some managers, but I took control of the team. The team is definitely getting relegated. Arteta will be acknowledged by football fans if he consistently puts Arsenal in the top 4. And I think he'll be acknowledged by football fans if he starts winning the major trophies. I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to win the major trophies. If Arteta is going to be put next to Pep, he's got to win multiple leagues, multiple Champions Leagues. Has to. Otherwise, him and Pep don't get uttered in the same sentence. That's just me being fair to Pep Guardiola. And that's just the standard I have. He could have better talent ID though, but that's like one string to a manager's bow, if that makes sense. I have a clip of Terry saying Sancho would be better than Neymar in the Premier League. Yeah, you probably have got that clip because I said it and I got it wrong. It is what it is. Do you know what I like about you, Ali? Is that you're so obsessed. So I think that's one of your life goals. Like you and Igao are the same. You're obsessed with proving me wrong, which is nice. And of course I get things wrong. But the difference between me and a lot of other people is I'm willing to hold my hands up when I get things wrong and say, and Sancho hasn't been as good as I thought he would be. I'm a man, and real men can do that. And my platform continues to grow. It hasn't worked out. It is what it is. I thought Sancho was going to kill it in the league. He hasn't. We move on. But equally, I've got a clip of me saying to you that Haaland is going to be one of the best strikers in Europe. You said, no, he isn't. Alexander Isak is better. So we all get things right and wrong. You know, I predicted last year that Liverpool would catch up Man City. I said they'd win the league. They missed out by a point. People told me they wouldn't get within 10 points of City. So it's almost like we get some things right, we get some things wrong. I told you all that Arsenal were going to start the season brilliantly. You said, nah, it was preseason hype. They have. You know, it's one of them things. When I predicted United finishing 7th, everyone said, nah, they'll be better than that. Currently sitting bottom of the league. Like, we might, obviously, it's worse than I thought. Like, we get some things right, we get some things wrong. And I think fans have become too obsessed on social media about who's right and who's wrong. I reckon if you went through everybody's predictions, the maximum percentage you'd get of people being right would be 50%. The maximum. It is what it is. But thanks for pointing that out, Ali. I love you, brother. Arteta identifies players suited for Arsenal and brings the best out of them, whilst Pep have had to spend millions without developing them like Arteta. Oh, I mean, Pep has developed players. Come on now. Pep has developed players. Come on. Do you know who he developed? He developed a certain player called Lionel Messi, Busquets, Gerard Piqué, to name just 3. You know, look what he's doing with Phil Foden. Come on now. He definitely develops people. Come on. Terry, when Arteta was at Man City, he was the main coach. And remember, the players he trained back then were a similar age to our young players now. So they are technically improved. I hear you on that. Arsenal are winning the league is what Chad says here. I think what we're saying here, Sancho will come good with the right team around him, is what Mike Hill said. Listen, by the way, I'm not wrong though about my thing that Sancho will be better in the Prem than Neymar. Until Neymar comes to the Prem, we don't actually have an answer because Neymar might have one less goal, especially playing for this Man United team. So yeah, it is what it is. We're going to get Hashim on the show with us this morning to have his say. Please make sure you're smashing like buttons for us. Really, really important to the Terrace that you get that done. Give us a smash with the like button. Subscribe to the Terrace as well. Morning, my friend. What do you want to say?
Hi, Terry. Big fan of the show, first of all. First call, though. What I want to say is that as a United fan, I'm obviously very happy with all these signings, the Casemiro and whatever is coming. My only problem is, aside from the Glazers, obviously, is that with these signings, if they all happen, the Antony, the Gakpos, whatever, our preseason is just starting now, because for these signings to all sink in and have the harmony and play together, you will need probably 2-3 weeks for all of them to play together. So if this budget, which all of a sudden became available, was available from June, we could have we went to preseason with one signing, with only Malaysia, and we were playing all the Zidane Iqbals and Savage and all these guys. So actually, even sorry, with these signings, the preseason is just starting. So you will still need to lose I don't know how many games until Ten Hag figures it out. So that's why I'm 100% Glazers out, and that's typically mismanaging, getting budget out there all of a sudden. So
yeah, look, I agree with you, and I think that if we'd have just carried on and we only brought in 1 or 2 more players and have the same targets we were chasing, and it took a long time to negotiate them, I could understand it. But suddenly we've got all this new budget from the Rabbit's hat, which was there, and it's only come on. Even Casemiro, I think, is a brilliant signing as a player. The fact that it's been done at this time, it's already been announced that they're unveiling him before the kickoff today.
yep.
There is part of that which is to stop the walkout and to stop the protest early as a bit of a make way. And it's for me, it's a deadbeat dad who's barely seen his kid, and he turns up and his kid's all upset. Where have you been, Daddy? I haven't seen you, Daddy. And then Daddy pulls out a brand new PlayStation 5 and says, I love you more than your mum does. That's what the Glazers are trying to do to Man United here. New shiny toy. Trust us, we're going to back you from now moving forward. Be happy with the signings, but please don't be fooled by the Glazers' tricks. That's all they are tricks.
Absolutely.
Listen, my friend, thank you for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers, my bro. KJ, you coming on? KJ's coming on to have a chat with us this morning. What are you saying, bro?
Yo. As you can see, man's a bit tanned, Hey, come on. Enjoy the weekend at camping and that. And now I have to come back and talk about this football club. I have had a weekend off of all the news. I'm catching up. Casemiro done. And I'm seeing links to Gakpo and Antony coming at the same time, links to a new right back, whether it's Dest or someone else, who knows. Seeing a new links to a backup goalkeeper who will challenge the hair this time and actually give him competition. People thinking if all these changes are happening, Maguire might get dropped, all of this. And I'm sitting here like, how can anyone be happy? Like, genuinely, how can anyone be happy that now that fan unrest is happening, this is when these pagans want to start spending money. This is when these pagans want to start backing Ten Hag. He's been backed into a corner. He's got a Sky interview, which I'm looking forward to see, because I want to see him answer these questions that no one else has had as a manager this early on in their stint. When's the last time you saw a manager 2 games in get asked all these questions about his tactics, about the squad, about the club this early on? No, I've never seen that before. And they've left him out to dry, and now they're panicking like, oh crap, people actually don't like us. Let us do what we normally do and just buy things. Like, I'm annoyed. No Man United fan should be happy right now. I'm not. I'm not sitting there like, yes, Casemiro. I don't really care. We've just signed a really, really, really good DM. A DM that you probably could say could fit in the single pivot, could work in a 4-3-3 for Man United. And I'm saying, I don't care. Good for him getting his money. But at the end of the day, I'm like, where was this at the start of the window? Where was this when you promised us that the money was there, that you're changing your ways, that we would actually back this manager? What's the point? What's the point in doing it now? Because like my brother said just on the call, it's going to take a little while before them to gel. Fortunately for us, we have games up until mid-September. So that will technically be the preseason period that we would have, but in a competitive environment. Things might click a bit quicker because they have to. But at the end of the day, this just shows that these guys don't care. We could have done this earlier. We could have got targets earlier. We could have moved on from De Jong earlier. And clearly, because I thought we had no money for De Jong and other players, so that's why we was waiting for De Jong to happen and see what happens. No. Clearly, the money's still there. I was wrong about that. There was money always there. So why not buy new players while you're waiting for De Jong? Why not make the changes? Why not back the club, back the own asset you have? If the Glazers see this as an asset, why don't they back their own asset that they've got? If you want to make money from it, why not invest in it and make more money from your asset? It makes no damn sense. I know that, Terry, you don't like to hear that they're bad pieces people, because technically they're not like the smart business people. But let me not say that they're bad. They're confusing. They don't make no sense. Like, if you have the resources to improve your product and improve your asset to therefore make more money, you do that. But yet these guys don't. And as a Man United fan, I'm not sitting here pleased about Casemiro and all these links. I'm just more annoyed, like, you man really think we're idiots. You man really think we're fools.
Yeah, I look at it from the point of view of, I get where you're coming from, and I think the whole good and bad. I think the Glazers, they do what they're doing right now when they feel like their cash cow could be coming to an end. So it's almost a case of them making enough money out of us. The asset is growing in value at the right. Remember, when it comes to investing, it isn't always about the money you're making weekly, monthly, yearly. It's about the overall asset. So if you run a hedge fund, you invest your money in it. The people that run the hedge fund, it's about growing the overall valuation of the investment over a prolonged period of time for the end result. At the end of it, when it's basically sold and people take their money back, it's like, right, we took in £100 million from our clients, but when we sold it, it was worth 1.5 billion. Does that make sense? Like, that's what they're trying to do. Their money is being made by selling the club. They're seeing, if we crash that share price, if the valuation drops, they will lose hundreds of millions, billions of pounds off the overall valuation. That's what they're doing right now. That's why we need to keep the pressure on them, because if we get them to do the right things regularly to maintain the valuation of the club, if we make them run the club in the right way, you can get the best out of a bad bunch. But it's just, what I'm scared of is that we land one or two of these players and then everyone relaxes and stops being Glazer out, and all the same problems behind the scenes start to ensue. So I totally agree with you. Like, this stuff should have been done. I remember sitting on streams with Ben Jacobs. You guys have got about 100 million to spend. And like, me and you spoke privately. We've definitely got more money than that. If Spurs have got more money than that, if West Ham have got more money, if Nottingham Forest have got more money than that, we've got more money than that. Like, it's a crazy one for me, bro. It really, really is. And
yeah,
like, fans fell for that nonsense. It's so crazy.
And just for tonight, in terms of style, I don't literally. I'm watching the game just to see how Erik ten Hag handles one of the best teams in the league. In terms of result, I've already accepted that a loss is highly probable. Even 5, 6, 7s is highly probable. I'm not worried about that. I'm more focused on the fans. How are we acting? Are we going to fulfill our talk with action? Are we actually going to walk out? Are you actually going to protest? Are you actually going to sing anti-Glazer chants? Because apparently one of them is going to be there tonight. Apparently Avram Glazer is still here and you're going to be there. So is he going to be sitting there Kushti looking at his empire and be like, these simpletons, they don't care about what I've done? Or are we really going to let him know that he's not welcome here? And again, as I said before, I'm not saying to incite any violence. But if he's there and you see him, let him know that he's not welcome. Let the atmosphere be so bad that he's like, I shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? We need to let these guys know. And if I see Casemiro walk on that pitch and people are like, amazing, I'm going to be upset. I feel for the brother, but I would happily, if we could boo that announcement, not him, not boo the player, boo the announcement, boo the whole act of what's happening, I would love that. I would feel bad for Casemiro because he doesn't deserve to be in the atmosphere. He just got here. But this is what he's walked into. This is where the club is at. So it'd be better if he knows that, even though I'm here, the fans might like me, but there's more going on than just me arriving at this football club. So yeah, I'm looking at the fans. How are we going to react? How are we going to respond? And are we actually going to walk the walk instead of just talking? Because everyone just talks online. We all can talk online. But are we actually going to have action? So I hope, because there's two different protests going on. You've got the 1958 one before the game and the empty Old Trafford one ran by Green Devil and I think Unofficial Pundit. I hope both protests go super well. I hope there's no infighting. I hope there's no, your protest is about this, so I'm not going to do it. And your protest is about that, so I'm not going to do it. I hope both protests go perfectly well and everyone unites against these disgusting owners. I don't care what anyone says. And for the rivals who always like to chat, I know you've been in the wars, Terry, with some rival fans recently. I asked you this one thing. You guys like to say, what's wrong with the Glazers to spend money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I asked you this one question. Would you have the Glazers as your owners? I don't care how good your owners are now and be like, but they're not good as mine. So no. Take out would you have the Glazers as your owners? That is all I need to ask. And I probably know what your answer is. So therefore, I know what the answer is. I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're doing. You guys are lying to yourselves. You're trying to banter, which is fine. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the honest truth, you guys know what they are. You know they're not good for United. You know they're not good for football. But yeah, you guys want to act like they are. So if you would take the Glazers, you know what? Take them. Ask for them to come to your football club and have them because we don't want them.
We've got a super chat here that says, I'd take 3 points knocked for a greater cause. Real football rivals would invite this gesture as much as they don't like it deep down. They know it's good for the future. I think what's interesting about people being against the protests is I think a lot of Liverpool fans don't want to say out loud what they really think. And that's they want to embarrass us tonight. They want to beat us 4, 5, 6, 7-0. And if that gets taken away, even the 3 points isn't enough. It's no, we want to really drag you through the mud. A few have admitted it, and I'm like, at least you've actually said why you're like, oh no, these protests shouldn't be happening. The game shouldn't get called off. It's like, you just want to embarrass us because if the game gets called off, I'm pretty certain the 3 points will be given to Liverpool because it's a very concertinaed season. Terry, I understand how you feel about Man United, as I felt this way about our owners. However, our owners have totally got behind our manager, and unless that happens at United, your club won't change. I couldn't agree more with that take, to be honest with you. I think there was another chat that came through, and I can't find it now. Here it is. It says, I can't say it was all Guardiola. Like I said, majority of City players said Arteta improved them with one-on-one coaching, not Guardiola. Go Google it. Go Google Sterling Sane quotes. I get that, but you've got to remember, managers will delegate. So Guardiola has already earned his stripes as a coach. So he doesn't do all the coaching. He delegates out to his coaches. Arteta isn't doing all the coaching now, who delegate out to his coaches. Being a manager, being a coach are very different jobs. And yeah, but I get where you're coming from. If Guardiola's job was just a coach, I'm sure he'd do a really good job of that as well, because we've seen him already. We've seen him already do that.
Yeah,
But
there's
yeah,
someone here that Hicks and Gillette weren't worse than the Glazers. Oh, far worse there, far worse than Glazers. That's fine. They probably were. Like Liverpool out in a terrible state. No one's trying to say that the Hicks and Gillette were bad. Just because they were bad doesn't mean the Glazers are not bad. You know what I mean? It's like saying, you got mugged. You know what I mean? You got mugged the other day, but I got mugged and stabbed. So you shouldn't be upset. You know what I mean? Like both of them were bad things that happened to someone. So I don't see where the relevance is. Yes, cool. Hicks and Gillette were worse than the Glazers, but the Glazers are still terrible owners. So there's no argument here. You know what I mean? Like it's if you think Hicks and Gillette are bad for football and bad for Liverpool, you should also think that that the Glazers are bad for football and bad for Man United. That it's just a simple concept that rivals don't want to accept.
Quick question for you about players, Gakpo and Antony. Do you think they're good enough?
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna have to be honest. To bring us back to the title, right now, no, they're not good enough to bring us back to the title. Like if you said to me, these are the two guys you have to rely on to win the title in the next 2-3 years, I have to say no, because they're still young, they're still developing, they're still got their mistakes. Like Gakpo, from what I've seen of him, is a good player, but he's very similar to Rashford. So, and I like Rashford as well, but Rashford's frustrating at times. So, how can I expect him to do any worse? I mean, any better? Sorry, like I can see him developing better, but he's gonna have the same kind of flaws, the same kind of things that get on my nerves as Rashford. So, if Rashford's not good enough yet, I can't say Gakpo right now is good enough. What I have to believe in is that Ten Hag can develop Antony and Gakpo into players that are good enough to win us the league. Like we have to again, but this is the thing. We need patience. If we're not patient to get these players in and let them develop, we'll never get anywhere. Like people like love to like crap on Alanga, and I know right now he's probably not the player to save us from our woes. He's not. But when someone's coming in the worst season that we've ever had as a young player, how can you expect him to become good enough in a space of a year to be carrying us? That's not fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He may not be good enough in the end, but we need to allow players like these two coming in, like the Madze, Langas, Palestris, and Garners. We need to allow them time. And I don't know if Man United and the fans are willing to have those times.
I hear that. We've got a very special guest waiting backstage to come on and speak to us now. We're going to get him on to the show. Make sure you're smashing the like and share buttons. It's eye test, people. Let's do this. Eye test, welcome back to the terrace. What you saying, mate?
Yeah, so I think today there's a lot of pressure on the fans. There's a lot of pressure on the fans because I've seen the fans arrange protests a couple times now over the past 2-3 years, and how many of them succeeded? The only one that properly succeeded was the one after the Super League. That was the only proper protest that succeeded. Ever since then, I've seen so many protests being arranged. We're gonna do a walkout in this minute, 75th minute. We're gonna do an empty stadium. So many, countless. I don't even know how many protests have been arranged since then, and all of them have failed, and it's becoming embarrassing. So I think today is there's pressure on the fans. You have to like there's no excuses now. If you fail this protest, yeah, serious questions need to be asked about the fans. Like after this, if it fails again, now we can't waste energy on the Glazers now. Now we have to actually seriously question the fans, because we know we've talked about how to get the Glazers out, so we know what it takes. We know what it takes. Yeah, we know they are an issue. But if the fans are actually not going to do it, how can we keep focusing on the Glazers when when we're not doing what it takes. You have to look at yourself. So if again it fails, serious questions need to be asked about the fans, because it's becoming embarrassing. It's becoming embarrassing. So many failed protests, like the one when we signed Bruno Fernandes. I remember they arranged a walkout after when they arranged a walkout in the Wolves game. Yeah, they said we're going to walk out in this minute, but no one walked out because Bruno Fernandes was subbed on. And there was a couple other occasions. I can't remember exactly.
There's one from last season against Brentford where we were supposed to walk out, but because we was 3-0 up at the time, no walkout happened. There was a walkout. It was very minute people. It wasn't as many as would be suggested. So I agree with you. Now you're right. There is a lot of pressure on us today.
Yeah, exactly. So now, if this fails now, we're not talking about Glazer no more. We're talking about the fans. We're talking about the fans if this fails. But I do believe today will be successful, because I feel like for a protest to go well, yeah, something big needs to happen, like the Super League. Like the Super League, something big happened, something major happened. That's why I think it was successful. The others wasn't, nothing major was happening. But now it's kind of a crazy situation because a new manager came in. We're already bottom of the league, so I think now it might be successful. But what's gonna happen after that? I think it might die down a bit. Maybe when we start to improve in the league, when Casemiro comes in, it's going to improve, less noise, and then the fans are going to let us down again. So, I think sooner or later, we're going to have to start looking at the fans, man, because you can't always look at the Glazer like you look keep saying we can't always look at the players and the manager, because it's the people upstairs. So if we keep looking at the people upstairs, but we're not doing our job, we have to start looking at the fans.
I think you're right in the sense of you always look at the Glazers, but you look at the fans from what are you actually doing to help get them out? It's okay tweeting things. It's okay even going to a protest, but you need to do something tangible. You need to impact the club in a particular way. And I think that fans moaning about things and then doing nothing about them, I just always find that a very weird concept from a human being on anything. If you're going to moan about it, do something. If you're not going to do anything, please shut your mouth, because it's boring. I hate people that are all mouth and no trousers. I get you. Pav's also backstage. What you saying, Pav?
I'm good, man. Might want to rest your voice for the rest of the day, mate. Tonight could get a bit spicy, man. Yeah, I mean, what Itis is saying, I don't think like you can start calling the fans embarrassing. You have to understand, like, what Terry's been saying over the years, cut the money and all that. Of course, okay, so people have got their season tickets, they got their match tickets. I've always said, like, start abandoning the games. But you have to understand how many of them fans are old people and how many of them fans are family with their kids, and how many of them are going to, like, join the boycotting of the games. Like, a lot of the people who do that, or are willing to do that, will be like middle-aged, I know, people, men or women, younger people. But the whole thing is, like, what people have been saying is cut the money. If you're going to go into the stadium, don't buy anything. Don't go up to Old Trafford and go into the megastore and start buying tops when you're out there protesting. And if you're going to protest, but you don't want to boycott the game, make your voices heard throughout the whole 90 minutes. Don't sit there being quiet after 5 minutes of protesting. And even like KJ was saying, like, oh, we should boo when they bring Casemiro out. You don't, even with that, I don't agree with that, because from the player side himself, he could be like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I've come here and I'm being booed. Like, he could be feeling that. Like, you could clap him, but straight after that, be on the Glazers' necks throughout the whole 90 minutes. And for the people who are going to boycott the game and stand outside the stadium, like, well done. But obviously the people who go inside, to make sure your voices are heard. Like, even like when the game's on, like, people who are at home watching or whatever, obviously use the online platforms to do what you need to do against the sponsors, use your whatever Glazers out and all that. But like, like someone said to me yesterday, how can we be telling people to boycott the game, but we're sitting here at home watching it? Like, we're still giving the broadcasters the viewership on a mass scale, and I didn't know what to say back to that because it's kind of true. Like, I feel part of that. What he said to me was a bit true.
It is, but
It
I
depends.
can't speak loudly. It depends. So I was looking at that the other day, and I'm like, should I give up Sky and BT? But then I'm like, but then I can't watch my boxing. I can't watch my MMA. I can't watch my golf. I can't watch my rugby. I can't watch the other sports that I also enjoy. They're all part of the same package. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, there's an element of your TV deal that you buy. You don't just watch. Again, someone might, if you just have Sky Sports to watch the Premier League, give it up. But then, should you not watch any football? Like, I do get the point, right? So
There's a
there
way
is that.
around it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, am I willing to stop watching the UFC so that I can't watch, so that BT, like the money goes out of BT? I'm not, because that means I'm not supporting a different sport, which I want to give money to, because that sport I get enjoyment out of, right? So I get that point. You can unsubscribe from MUTV though, like where that money's going in. So so I get your point, but I hear what you're saying about, they might have a man, his 2 kids love going, he doesn't want to upset them by saying no. I'm not having a go at people like that. I'm not really having a go at anybody. Like, choose to support the club how you want, but also realize that by you buying those tickets, by you going there, the shirt in the mega store, the 3 bottles of Coca-Cola, the 3 burgers, the program, you're pumping collectively millions of pounds on match days into the football club. All of that maintains the value of the business. Therefore, the Glazers won't go anywhere. It's such a hard message to get across. But it is what it is. And I think that if these protests die down, if people keep pumping money in, why would people that are only there for money walk away? Like, in fairness, I'm not praising the Glazers, but they've created a business model which is perfect. They know people are diehard, and they believe supporting is like binary. There's one way to support and there's one way not to support, and it's hard to get people out of that mindset, because they don't look at United as a business. They look at it as their local football club, their football club, their church, their beacon. Some people love their football club that much. It's the most important thing in their life outside their wife and their kids, or their husband and their kids. And it's hard to get into their minds that they're treating you like a customer, so treat them like a business. It's hard to get people to change their view of the football club. So I totally get it. It's such a hard thing.
Can I make another point on some of these like rival fans and especially pundits as well, who have been saying that the Glazers have pumped money and blah blah blah? Unless you know what's been happening, don't open your mouth, because if it wasn't for like teams like Man United, Liverpool, and your Arsenals, the viewerships wouldn't be as big as they are. So you rival fans, especially like lesser clubs, you need to know your place. Don't talk about stuff that you don't know, and all these pundits trying to put the blame onto like the boards and stuff like that about the signings and saying, the Glazers spent money. They ain't put a penny of their own money into this club. The money's come from the what the club generated, and they've pissed it all away. And all I've been seeing for this past week, Man United fans have wanted other clubs' help, blah, blah, blah. No one's asking for your help. Like, the Man United fans will do what they need to do. And you lot going out there online, spouting loads of crap, lying about how we're spoiled and all this. You lot need to know your place. If it weren't for clubs like ours, none of your clubs will be getting this money that you're getting now. That's being pumped into your club. You lot will be in the gutter. So know your place.
Thank you very much, Pav. Look, guys, we are at the end of the show now. Do me a favor before you go anywhere and smash that like and share button. The top 6 back at 5 p.m. today. So make sure you're tuning in. We'll be talking Gakpo to Arsenal, Chelsea's woes, more of the transfer window, and of course looking ahead to tonight's game. And we're live after Man United Liverpool, or after the game gets called off. Whatever happens, we'll be ready to go live and talk to you all. Until next time, everybody, take care. Good